Hey, what's up, guys? Little man with a big opinion here. Today's prepping video, I'm going to discuss one of those prepping items that, you should store a little bit of it, but I don't think it is on the uh, topmost priority list, at least for me as a prepper, and I think this should go for everyone as a prepper. Today, we're going to talk about storing booze, liquor, and in that same concept, we could also throw into that category. Let's see, I think I had something sitting around here. We could also throw other things in there like tobaccos and cigars. And if you are of the uh, more earthy type, there are other things that you would probably consider important for part of your prepping stash. So, whether or not you do anything worse is up to you. Someone wants to be in the video. All right, let's get back to the video. But do they have a place in your preps? Yes, I believe they do. Uh, most of the stuff that I've bought, it's not bought, specifically to go into preps. Like this is one of those little half 375 milliliter bottles of something that I wanted to try, and I've tried it. It's probably going to sit there for quite a while until someone else comes along and uh, drinks it. You know, as a prepper, you shouldn't just stop everything going on in the world. You know, enjoy your social times with your friends and, live life and continue to prep on the sides. So I would say one of the first things is it does provide a bit of, you know, normal life. If the grid were to go down and the only thing you've put aside is rice and beans, you're going to be kind of miserable. So the first thing I would say is, it is a pick me up. It is a stress reliever. It is something that tons of people uh, partake in, and it falls into normal life. Uh, I think the correct answer that most preppers want to hear for why you should be storing aside uh, different kinds of liquors is, oh, it's a disinfectant, and you can use it in your home remedies if you're feeling sick. Mix it with your honey and your apple cider vinegar. All of those things are great, but I think the number one reason why you should store any type of liquor or wine, I'm not really going to say much on the beer side because it doesn't last nearly as long, but it's keeping some level of normal life going. Uh, I say it shouldn't be at the top of your list because while you might enjoy, whatever the different kind of stuff that you enjoy, it's not going to, provide the calories you need to keep you going. So number two on the list, I would say, is, medical purposes. Uh, I remember many a story of my dad saying his grandma, anytime someone got a cold, they would take like half a shot of whiskey, mix in some honey. She'd put peppermint in it or clover or something else along, and just mix the whole thing together. Toss in a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar and just mix up this concoction, and you almost always felt better. Um, Generally speaking, you could do like a half shot of this every night, and it could be your melatonin. It can clean wounds. Yeah, I wouldn't use this American honey. I'd use something that was a higher proof, uh, but it can disinfect things. So, keep it there in case you need it. It kind of reminds me of that scene, in the history class I'm showing the kids, the Alamo, and, Smitty gets the scrape on his arm, and they've got a jug of some type of whiskey. that he takes a swig of it and then they pour it on his arm and he ends up passing out. But, even a concept 200 years ago, using a high proof uh, liquor can be a disinfectant. Next thing, why I would keep it on your list is kind of ties into everything else, and it kind of maybe should be the top part of the list. Is it's a barter item. Um, we have a bottle of vodka that's kind of a running joke within our group of friends that was bought while we were in college. Um, it was, for a while there, we liked the whipped cream vodka, and so someone got a 2-liter bottle. And anytime someone kind of needs a favor, it's like, well, I'll give you a bottle of booze if you help me out. Instead of, them paying you, they were bartering. And the running joke is they give us this bottle of something that none of us really like, and it just kind of floats around. So, from a bartering standpoint, you can barter. If the world falls apart, you can barter everything. In a previous video, I talked about this sewing kit and how I use it to, fix stuff. You could barter a knife. You could barter medical supplies. This flashlight could be bartered. Everything is going to be up on the table, including this stuff. So, it's something that I know one of the Doomsday Prepper episodes that the Nat Geo channel did several years ago. One of the people's big plans on there is they had stored up tons of booze, tons of just everything that people enjoy, junk food and sugar and all of this other stuff. And his plan was he was going to be like a merchant in SHTF. He's got all of these supplies for himself, and he's got all of this stuff that he knows other people are going to want it as well. And so when he runs out of something that he needs, he's going to barter the stuff that he's put aside, which isn't a terrible plan. I mean, I think you should be fully capable of defending your stuff, because while some people might look at you as the grocery store, other people might look at you as the loot room at the end of a boss battle, and they get through you and they've got all of this stuff. So everything that you prep could go on this barter list, but I think these comfort items, these sin items that people tend to associate it with, I think they have a place in your preps, and so they're a barter item. And that kind of goes into the last little bit of you might need a pick-me-up. Things could be going miserable in a SHTF situation, or they could be going great. And it's just like having board games and movies and books. There are times to celebrate. You've got birthdays and weddings. There are times to grieve about people. SHTF, people aren't just going to stop dying because the world's falling apart. There's probably going to be more of that than less of that. But you take your victories where you can, and, you lick your wounds when you get them. And this might be something that needs to go onto your list. If we're putting it in a hierarchy list of what's more important to get, obviously I still put food, water, shelter, security, medical, all of that well before, getting these comfort items. You might have more of it than others because you have a more social life. But, I'd say every few $100s that you spend on prepping, go spend $15 to $40 on, something that you enjoy. because the thing that you enjoy might not be a whiskey, it might be hard candies. So go ahead and get the hard candies and put them away. You can kind of put them into the same category. You can treat it like a reward system. I've spent the money on all of these preps. Now I'm gonna go reward myself with this other thing. And your mindset could be, I'm just gonna store up all of this stuff that I know other people are going to want to have as prepped items. But let me know your comments down below. Should you add adult beverages to your preps? If so, how much should you add to your preps? And where does it fall on your list of priorities? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you enjoy the channel, hit the subscribe button. I try to make a video every day. Doesn't really happen, but you get at least one once a week. And lastly, if you have a friend or family member that would benefit from these videos, then send them my way. And with that, catch you in the next one.